I didn't come to this beautiful island of Lanzarote to chase abundance. I came to reset, to recharge, to reconnect to nature. But everywhere I turned, in the land, in people, in unexpected conversations, I have been shown abundance codes. And I've had a powerful confirmation that abundance is not something that you chase down. It is not something you can make happen. It is something that comes to you when you choose to listen differently. In this video, I'm going to share 3 powerful insights I've had on this island that will help you to call more abundance into your life. The first abundance code that came to me on this trip actually happened on the plane on the way over. I was journaling and I was writing all about abundance because the one thing that I wanted to work on while I was here was a 7-day abundance alchemy experience, which has been in my mind for ages and I'm super excited about. So I was writing about this on the plane and the flight attendant came over to me and she said, "Are you writing a book?" And I decided in that moment to claim my authorship. And I said, yes, I'm trying to write a book about abundance, about the energy of money and about gratitude. And she took that as fact, as a reasonable truth. And we got into such a fascinating conversation about money. She said to me, "Do you think money is evil?" I said, "No. Money is a neutral energy and it's how human beings use it that determines the ways in which it impacts people and the planet and so on." And then she called her friend in and we started discussing the different levels of security that people want to feel with their savings around money. Anyway, it was a fascinating conversation, but it was also a powerful breadcrumb from the universe, right, to show me, okay, you're on the right path. It's great for you to be talking to people about this. And it really was an initiation moment because I got to, by claiming my voice, claiming my own authority, claiming my unique perspective on this topic, I got to shed some of the limiting beliefs that had been present in the past about who are you to talk about abundance? Who are you to talk about money? And they started to loosen their grip and dissolve and be transmuted in that moment of claiming my own power. This is true for you as well, right? When you claim your abundance, it starts to expand. The universe reflects the certainty with which you claim your role, okay? So the more you can start to own your authority in relation to abundance, is the more the universe is going to reflect that back and expand the things that you want. The second abundance code literally has come from understanding the land on this island because it has a very interesting and moving history actually. The island was basically devastated by volcanic eruptions through 1730 to 1736, and these eruptions covered the island in lava and ash, and they meant that many people had to emigrate to neighbouring islands or places further afield, but basically the landscape became inhospitable for some time. I'm very humbled by what that must have been like to go through. And at the same time, there's so much powerful wisdom in the ways in which ecosystems and so much natural abundance has grown out of those volcanic eruptions. The cactuses on this island that have such incredible, beautiful flowers are a similar symbol of like resilience in harsh, seemingly barren conditions, but actually the conditions are perfect for some things, and those things flourish, those things grow. And I don't want to do any kind of spiritual bypassing here. Like I recognize that trauma, violence, disasters, they're real. The impact is 100% real. And there is healing and grace and growth and beauty and abundance that can flourish in the wake of that. And so I'm not here to minimize anyone's experience, but I'm here to transmit what I feel I'm being taught by this island, which is that there are hidden gems even in this seemingly dry, arid, difficult and harsh terrain. And that's the same for life. You know, unexpectedly we can flourish after the dust has settled, after we've been through something difficult. So, you know, I wanted to share this. I see it as medicine that can maybe help someone who feels like things have been devastated around them and that there's no hope, but actually there is hope. There's that beautiful, bright flower that can bloom in the wake of the things that you've been going through. Of course, it's not just the land that's been teaching me so much, it's been the conversations as well. And there was another one in a taxi coming home from a beautiful town. I met a man from Cuba, and he was telling me about how his life had been really, really difficult back at home. The environment was very challenging, it was rough, it was violent. And for him to survive in that scenario, he would have had to become somebody that he didn't really want to be. And he found himself here on this beautiful island, and he was talking about how grateful he is to live in a peaceful place where, you know, he's not worried about his physical safety all the time, and it's just a beautiful, easy, simple, gorgeous place to be. And he also shared that there are some people here who have, you know, places to live on this beautiful island, and they have families and they have no money worries, and yet they're still actually depressed. And sometimes it even makes him angry to see that how could they be depressed when they haven't been through what I've been through, when they don't live in difficult circumstances. And I really felt where he was coming from, and I felt humbled again in that moment to remember, okay, what are the things in my life that I'm overlooking, the gifts that are right in front of me, you know, to remember to tune into that energy of gratitude. And it was also a really powerful reminder that we get to look beyond comparisons about who should and shouldn't be happy or sad. You know, it's not about comparing what each other has got. It's not about like measuring the different levels of blessing that we've been exposed to. True abundance is about tending to our own inner garden and over and over again looking for the moments of light, no matter what the conditions are. But I realize, like, sometimes there are these narratives in the manifesting community about, well, you should just be grateful for what you have. If you've got a phone, you should be grateful. You know, and I agree with that. Gratitude is so powerful. And at the same time, I would love to avoid getting into even that kind of level of comparison or judgment, because I think it's more about us turning within and, yeah, as I say, looking at where we are at and how we can evolve our own relationship to abundance on our own terms. All these three experiences, like the conversation on the plane, communing with this incredible, powerful, volcanic land, the conversation in the taxi, and there's been other things as well, to be honest. I realise, once again, abundance, it's not something that we can chase down. It's not something that we can actively create. It is already in existence. It's in the land. It's in the frequency of the divine. It's everywhere around us. And it's looking for all of those opportunities to tap into that. No matter how difficult the circumstances feel, that there's a glimmer of hope, there's abundance, and we can expand more and more and more to magnetize that towards us and to live in a state of abundance and true wealth no matter what. So I love to work with people one-to-one, and if you're interested in that, I'll leave a link in the description below to my one-to-one coaching. And otherwise, I'm sending so much love. I'm sending you all the medicine and the energy from this land, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.